Yes, we'll go to the most disappointing teams in the playoffs, and we're still sticking with the big boys. So we'll talk about the most disappointing teams in the playoffs, and I'm going to start this one off, and I'm going to start with the Milwaukee Bucks.
That's fair.
I have to start there because I was disappointed. Giannis, I know you're good. I know you're one of the best players in the league, but you can't be going out to a number 8 seed in the first round. And your players and your teammates and stuff can be letting you down, or you let them down, whatever the situation is, to a number 8 seed that had just played a play-in, and you guys were fresher, you were the better team. So I think I was really disappointed. A lot of people will give them a pass because they are the defending champions, but no, you can't be losing to the number 8 seed. You played so well in the regular season, dominated. So
I think they are like the best regular season record in the whole league too.
yeah, so I would say that was really disappointing, leaving so early. And beating properly, like not just leaving early. The Miami Heat
I didn't see that.
The Miami Heat gave the Milwaukee Bucks the business.
Oh yeah.
They made sure that the Milwaukee Bucks got all of it. So I would say they were my most disappointing team, and that comes from the amount of respect I have for Giannis. I'm sure if you listen to the press conference, he tried to explain what failure means.
I thought that was funny.
I would consider this season a failure, as he would say. But yes, we understand why we're explaining a lot. The reason we're explaining a lot is because you shouldn't be living in the first round. But yeah, interestingly enough, I think Miami Heat were disappointing for all their players. Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, Middleton. Middleton was healthy. Who knows? He might not be fully healthy, but still, I think they were good enough.
Drew Holiday, they had Brook Lopez, so they still had
so they still had a good team. So in the playoffs, I thought they left early, and I think they should.
And they got the coach fired too.
And they got their coach fired in their process. Everybody takes responsibility for that because he was a good coach.
Oh yeah.
But when you lose to a number 8 seed, that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, heads up to roll.
What about you? Who do you think?
For me, it was definitely the Boston Celtics, man. Like, I also like watching Celtics play has to be the most frustrating thing in the playoffs because you know how good they are. Like you know their players. Like they have Jason Tatum, they have Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and like they have such. And they were just in the finals the previous year. So I was thinking this year, having lost in the finals, you're coming back with a little edge, with a little bit of chip on your shoulder, to be able to just make right your wrongs. But they didn't do that. So starting, I started seeing like the cracks in the Boston Celtics when in the first round when they played the Hawks. I thought that was going to be like a sweep. Ended up ending in 6.
Yeah,
so
the Hawks were not that good.
Exactly, it should have been like 5 games, but then they lost like one game, like game 5 at home, which I thought was weird. And then it ended in 6. They had to go back to like Atlanta to win like game 6. So that's where for me it started. I'm like, you don't let this is like the 7th seed. You don't let them, come into the game. You know what I mean? Like try to get like two wins from me. I thought that was necessary. You could have saved your energy there. So that's where it started for them. And then next round they played the 76ers, and that went all the way to 7 games, and they found themselves down like 3-2. To the Sixers as well, and then they had to win like game 6 and 7. So 6 on the road, 7 at home. So I thought again that was a bit shaky. You didn't have to like find yourself in a 3-2 hole, and then lost in 7 to the Heat. Started awfully. Like going down 3-0, like they were all healthy. Like we didn't really understand what was going on. You lost your first 2 games at home, and then you go on the road and then lose, the first road game again. So that was like, it made you be down 3-0 for no reason. I just couldn't understand it. So they were such an up and down team. After that, they won like 3 games straight, tied it up. And then I was like, okay, maybe they'll do it. So this is a high again. And then they come crashing down in game 7 when Jason Tatum picked up that early injury. And then it was like game over when they played Miami. So Yeah, for like a team that made it to the finals the previous year, I just thought that they'll be better this year, keeping basically their core team, like what they had, from last year, and yeah, they just didn't. They
Didn't do
just
good.
couldn't. I don't
Yeah,
know if it has to do with coaching or like
that's
I know they had like a rookie coach and all that, but
yeah.
at some point, like your best players have to like step up and kind of like just close the deal, like take it to the
Take it
promised
to the
land.
promise.
Yeah,
Yeah, Boston were disappointing
there's such an
after
up and down team, man.
after the
Like
Bucks. After the Bucks left, I just thought that was handed to them to at least go compete
at
against the
least go
Denver
go to the
Nuggets,
finals,
right?
right? That made sense, but yeah, it didn't quite
Yeah.
happen that way.
So we're gonna do the most disappointing players um for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you want to start that off? Who
Oh
do you
yeah,
think
yeah,
was
yeah. For me, I
disappointing?
definitely have someone in mind.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't obvious picking him, but when I thought of it, I had to pick him. So I went with Clay Thompson. Um, I said he was my most disappointing because the previous year they had won, Golden State had won the championship, and I thought he was part of the reason why they won because he was
Yeah.
injured like the previous like 2 seasons.
Couple years.
Yeah, he was like he tore his Achilles, tore his ACL. He came back, and I thought like this is what they needed. So they had Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Steph, and him. So it's a pretty good team, and they won last year, which I guess I was like it makes sense. You were injured before you were not here. You guys didn't even make the playoffs or something like that, right? So I thought he had a big impact on them. And then coming into like this last postseason, he just wasn't the same player. Like his numbers were not bad when you look at them. He averaged like 18.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists in like 13 playoff games. And you think, okay, that's not bad, right?
But let's
But
go
he
deeper.
shot, but he shot 38.8% from the field in the whole playoffs.
That means he was taking a lot of shots too.
Yeah, he was. He was taking a lot of shots, and you know, he shot like 36.8% from three this postseason, and his career average from three is like 41.6%. So that's for me, that's a big drop off.
Yeah.
Like when you're like a 40% like 3-point shooter. You come into the postseason and like you're below that, that's not good enough. You don't help your team, right? Because I remember
Exactly.
when they played the Lakers, it was like double Steph, anybody else can kill us,
Yeah.
and Clay didn't step up to me. Like, so that's why for me, I feel like it was the most disappointing. And then in game six against the Lakers in the second round, we know his reputation. He's called game six Clay for a reason. And
Yeah.
what does game six Clay do? He gave us 8 points. He gave us 8 points on 3 for 9 shooting.
Mm.
That's fifteen
He
point
did
eight percent.
okay.
And then 2 for 12 from three. And that is
Did you say
16.7%.
3 for 19?
Three for 19, yeah, field goal shooting. Yeah. So that was it. So
Are you
for
sure
me,
they wouldn't allow me to?
yeah, for me, I had the numbers, and when it wasn't adding up. And funny enough, last season he had a similar like postseason average. I think he averaged like 17 points
Yeah.
per game, but I guess he was more effective. But this year in that game six, where we thought that he would step up and do his thing, I guess they were all spent because I know they played like 7 games in their first round. So for me, definitely Clay Thompson was my most disappointing because I gave him a lot of credit when they won like the previous year.
And he has to get a lot of when you don't step up to you get the criticism.
Oh yeah, oh
If we're
yeah.
gonna lift you up in the parade, we're gonna actually ask you what happened when it all went down. So I actually think we're going to talk more about the Golden State Warriors. But yes, one thing I just wanted to ask before we step out from that, because one thing I've always looked at Clay as an excellent defender.
Yeah.
Do you still think he's an excellent defender anymore after his
Unfortunately,
injury?
unfortunately, I'll say no because I feel like having those injuries back to back like that, it takes something away from you, right? Clay was such a good, on-ball defender, right? When you have this kind of injuries, it's hard for you to move laterally like the same, the way you used to move.
Yeah, I
And
don't
I
think he
and I
moves
feel
the
like
same
he doesn't
anymore.
move the same anymore. Like he's still like an
Good
okay
and good.
defender, yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not like sit in the chair kind of defender that he was before. Cause like he's like what 6'5", and
Yeah.
like he could like guard like point guards, like two guards. He could even guard like a small forward, like like before he got those injuries. So I think that has also like affected his game a little bit. So
Oh yeah. I would agree with that assessment. Basically, for me, just to wrap up the most disappointing player side, I will just quickly. I don't need to say too much about this, right? I'll just say Joel Embiid.
Joel. Mm.
I would say
Yeah,
Joel
fish
Embiid.
out, fish out.
I would say Joel Embiid. For me, it's a matter of you're the MVP of the league. You were up 3-2, and in Game 7, when you needed to play well, you just sucked. It was like someone took the life out of you in a Game 7 when you're the MVP. So you might as well.
And his
Uh,
post game conference didn't help too. So there's that. Because I know
well,
when he came out after the game, they asked him, if could he has done more, and he was like, "Yeah, I could have done more." He tried to take the responsibility, but then he was like, "Oh, but then me and James Harden can do everything." I'm like, "Bro, like, which side
well,
are you like?"
well, you got the MVP playing with those guys.
Exactly. So like when it's time to step up, you have to take all the blame, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it is for the
It's
superstars in this
just
league.
because the truth is, when you win, you're expecting to win the finals MVP and all that stuff. So when you lose, don't say you
The
can't do it
guys, the
all.
guys didn't step up,
So
right?
the next time you get like an MVP or a finals MVP, you better also stand in front of them and be like, they should just cut off the trophy and give each person
Yeah,
individually a part of it.
exactly.
So, but I would say Joel Embiid. I just think he obviously has an opportunity to still be better and win championships,
Yeah.
but had a great opportunity. You were up 3-2 against the Boston Celtics. Probably would have gone on to go play the Miami Heat and give yourself a good chance to be in the
Finals,
finals
yeah.
against the Denver
And
Nuggets. And that would have
that's always been the kryptonite too. The second round, they've never gotten out of
that's
the second round, which is
yeah.
weird. Yeah.
This was a great opportunity, especially considering that you were up 3-2.
Yeah.
And that would have been a very interesting final. Now it would have been you, Mano Emmanuel,
Versus Joel
versus
versus Jokic.
versus Jokic.
Yeah.
So now that would have given you the chance to, show how good you are, or the MVP and the respect you expect in the NBA. But I would say Joel Embiid would be the player I would be calling out specifically for the most disappointing player during the playoffs.